Hello everyone, it's Elaine. Thank you for joining me here today on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a love themed shaker card. So to start off with, I'm taking some stitched scalloped frames from Fawn and also some pretty pink Posh heart scallop frames as well. I'm cutting the largest rectangle out onto some pink cardstock here, and I'm also going to use that largest heart to cut out my shaker frame. Just run that through my die cut machine. I'm also going to cut one of the hearts, or the largest heart, out on some rose gold cardstock. And there I have all my pieces ready. And this is how it's going to look. So just masking off the scallops on that rectangle because I want to add some ink splatters to the cardstock. I like the look of that, and I think it breaks up the colour a little bit. So I'm taking some Winsor & Newton gold metallic paint onto an acrylic block and tapping that off onto the cardstock with a paintbrush. And then I pick up the acrylic block and just flick that on. Being careful not to get two bigger splatters. I wanted to keep them quite small. Then cleaned off my block and my paintbrush, took some white gouache, mixed a little bit of water with that, and then went ahead and splattered the white on as well. Just getting that nicely onto the paper, and then we'll leave that to dry. Just peeling away that post-it tape very gently. Don't want anything to rip. Once that's dried, I've then taken A2 sized card base here, and I'm lining everything up because I want to secure that negative piece onto my card base directly. So just using some double-sided adhesive on the back of there, lining everything up, and then remove the release papers and then secure that inner heart piece down onto my card base so that everything's nicely centered on my card base. Now I'm just going to secure that rose gold heart to the outer frame. So to do that, I'm just flipping everything upside down and using some fairly thin washi tape to secure that heart to the card base. I find using thinner washi tape a little bit easier to manage. So once everything's secure there, I then pop some double-sided adhesive around the heart, remove the release papers, and I've already pre-cut a piece of acetate, and this is going to form my front part of my shaker frame. So you'll see when I turn it over, I've got some acetate. So I did take these Fawn puffy cloud frames. I thought I might add some clouds to the background. So you can see here I've cut those out of some white glitter cardstock, and I'm securing this one to the back part of the shaker. Just pop some glue on the back of there and secure it down, popping an acrylic block over the top. And this smaller one I adhere to the front of my card onto that shaker acetate piece. Just leave those to dry. And then once they're dry, I just trim off the excess from that larger cloud. And then I can go ahead and apply some foam tape. I'm very generous with the foam tape. I don't want any areas to dip, and I also don't want any of my sequins falling out. So generously apply that foam tape all around. And then I can move on to the colouring of my penguins. So these are penguins from the Penguin Pals stamp set by Pretty Pink Posh. I'm using some cool grey markers to colour these penguins in. I have already cut them out. I have not got the coordinating dies for this stamp set, but I did use my silhouette machine to cut these cuties out, and I have a video on that if you're interested. I will have a link on the screen for you now. And just using some lighter cool greys for their tummies and their faces, some quite pale pinks for their tummies and their cheeks, just adding some dot detail here at the bottom of their tummies, with a C3 marker just to add some texture and interest, then going in with Y38 for beaks and feet. So now I can start putting together my shaker. I'm popping some embossing powder all on the inside of that foam tape where my sequins will be to help stop them sticking to the edges too much. Remove the release paper on that foam tape and then just take these clear 3mm sequins which I have in my stash, and then I also add some iridescent diamonds from Nuvo. This is some Nuvo confetti, just to give a little bit of iridescent colour to the sequin shaker. Then I cut another piece of acetate to go over the back of that shaker panel. I find this easier when it comes to applying this panel to the card base. I can move things around and I don't have to worry about sequins falling out. But just popping some more double-sided adhesive on top of that acetate to make everything nice and secure. Now here I decided that I didn't really like that cloud in the background, so I just used my Tombow Mono eraser here just to remove any excess paper glue. And here I'm adding some more sequins to this negative piece, the background of my shaker. So I've got some rose gold sequin mix by Lucy's Little Things, and I'm just taking out the tiny little gold stars in that set. So that means when my shaker is standing upright, I will still have some shimmer in the background. And I thought these little gold stars were perfect. Now I'm just removing my release papers from the double-sided adhesive, and I can secure everything down to that card base and get everything lined up nicely. So there's my shaker coming together. Taking my mini Misti here and some white cardstock. I'm going to be doing a very sweet sentiment for my penguins. It is Valentine's themed, but you could use it for anything. The sentiment says sending all my love, and I am using my VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I find the trick with these stamps is to not press too hard and not to ink them up too many times, just so that I don't lose the words. Sometimes they can get covered up by ink, so I'm using a sentiment banner die by My Favourite Things. It comes in the Blueprints 27 set. I use this one a lot. Just trimming off the edges. And now I can start putting everything together on the front of my card. So there's my penguins. I'm popping some Tombow Mono Multi Glue onto the back of those penguins. I did squirt out a little bit too much, so I'm just using my fingers to move the glue around. Grab my tweezers and then pop my penguins onto the front of the shaker panel, straight onto the acetate. Some double-sided adhesive on the back of my sentiment. Line everything up and then press it down. So to finish the card off, I'm using some black glaze pen for the penguins' eyes and some clear glaze pen for the beaks and their feet. I'm having terrible trouble with my tube of glossy accents at the moment. All my fine tip nibs seem to be blocking, so I'm really enjoying using this pen at the moment to add some shimmer and some shine to my images. I grabbed the Pretty Pink Posh Valentine's Jewel Mix and added those onto the front of my card using my multi-matte glue or multi-medium matte glue, some tweezers and my quick stick tool. And there is my card for today, complete. Thank you for joining me today for this Pretty Pink Posh love themed card. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in any of the products I've used in this video, I've listed them down in the description box below, also over on my blog. I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel if you like the videos that I'm making, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.